Is The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl really that much of a horrible comic book? Let's find out. Wes, hi everybody, and welcome to another video, and welcome to another review video, and I'm back with something you wouldn't expect from European law to cover on his channel here. Now, if you know something about me, however, you know that not only am I a tremendous fantasy and science fiction aficionado, as well as Old English literature aficionado, but I'm also very much into the graphic novel medium, or comic books, simply said, and that of course includes European comics, Japanese comics, and American comics. I do enjoy a good American superhero comic book, my favorite being more of anti-hero characters like Lobo and Hellboy, but I do like a good X-Men run from the 80s or the 90s by Chris Claremont. However, since 2015, The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl has probably been the most hated comic book, the most hated character on social media, on YouTube and on Twitter, now X, so on and so forth. And I'm like, is it really that bad? And I do belong among the people who thought, yeah, Marvel is destroying superheroes now. They are releasing things like The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. But recently I've realized that people have been criticizing things too much before venturing into actually those works of art themselves and checking them out. It's just, they have been damning things from the get-go. And I have decided to check the things out for myself, those most notorious things that I haven't really even got into. I just, at times, and I'm guilty of this as well, went with the flow. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl being one of the chief and prime examples. The character actually was created in the very early 90s, in 1991, I think. And Steve Ditko, of all people, was the co-creator of this character. She appeared in one of those, I don't even remember what title it was, but she teamed up with Iron Man, of all characters. And do you know what this comic book is? This comic book is good. This comic is good. What this comic is not is a comic book for old farts such as myself. Old farts, like 40, 50-year-old men who used to read Captain America and Superman in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 60s, things like that. No, this is not for... this is a kid book. Come on, I mean, this is a comic book for very early teens, I would say 10 to 14 to 15. This is basically a modern version of Howard the Duck. This is the modern version of Deadpool. This is a parody. If you read that, if you read the first paperback, which was written by Ryan North and illustrated by Enrica Henderson, you will realize that what this is a direct take, a parodic take on Spider-Man. Now, the artwork is, of course, very cartoony. It's very far removed from what my favorite kind of artwork is. The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl isn't something that I would like weekly be collecting in comic book shops, nor getting like collected omnibus editions to or action figures, because this is not for me. This is not my cup of tea. If I was looking for a comedic characters that are parodying more serious matters, more serious superheroes, I would go for I do go for Lobo, and he's doing the same thing. I would go for Howard the Duck. He used to do the same thing. I would go for The Mask. It was absolutely the same thing. Or even Deadpool, which is doing absolutely the same thing. It starts with her singing Squirrel Girl, Squirrel Girl, she's a human and also a squirrel. Can she climb up a tree? No, I can't sing, but it's actually a comedic take on the Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can, things like that. And so the main character is a girl who's got squirrel powers, and she looks like a huge living squirrel. She's got a tail, and she's got big teeth, and she looks very cartoony. She's got a pet squirrel, and she can speak with squirrels. She can talk to squirrels. And do you know what I wanted to read that from, like the main reason I really wanted to read that? I have been seeing all over the internet and social media statements like, I'm an independent comic book creator. Buy my comics because Marvel hates you and they are producing shit comics. And I'm like, yeah, and what are you producing? Specifically, Mr. Eric July. I've reviewed 4 of his comic books. They're absolutely shite. And I'm going to tell you, The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is a million times better comic book than Isom or Alpha Core or Yara. And I do recommend you get this comic book for comedic purposes. If you like comedy, if you like cheesy humor, and if you like parody, just get that. And definitely, if you have kids, get them this comic. They will fucking love it. It's so her superpowers are basically those powers that Spider-Man gets, but squirrel-like. She can jump very high. She's got a tail. She's got super strength. She makes references to nuts all the time. It's like very modern. I mean, if you look at modern teenagers and the way they are behaving, she behaves like a modern teenager, basically, like a modern awkward teenager. And what they also do in this comic book, sorry, I messed that up now. What they do in this modern comic book is that they are implementing like little notes at the bottom of those pages there. And they are very, very funny and very comedic. And you know, I'm not going to show you like the entire trade paperback because I would get a copyright strike. But suffice it to say that if you are really into parody, so in the first issue she is fighting with Kraven. In the second issue, she gets to know that she will be fighting Galactus. And then we are getting into all this, like, cosmic, galactic, comedic take on Galactus versus the Squirrel Girl. And it's actually very intelligently written. You just have to remember one thing when reading this. This is not Captain America. This isn't, the serious X-Men, title, such as was written by Grant Morrison, for example. This is a fun comic for kids. This is a parody. This is actually a parody on comic book superheroes. What bugs me now that I've read this comic book is all the years of the 50-year-old men on the internet crying that they don't like Squirrel Girl. Obviously, you do not like Squirrel Girl. Obviously, you don't want to read Squirrel Girl comic. Do you have a kid, you 50-year-old man on YouTube? Buy that comic. Give it to your kid. The kid will like it. You go and buy yourself something else. From that particular period, I don't know, Dark Knight's Metal, did that come out at that period? About 3 years later, X-Men House of X and Powers of X, or Powers of 10, that came out at that period. You do read that, you'll enjoy it if you want comics from that period, 2015 plus. So, my suggestion is, each and every time you want to criticize something, or you are listening to a YouTuber criticizing something, yeah, sure. I mean, you can agree with whomever you like, but first, check that thing for yourself first. And look at things from different points of view. And I can't blame Marvel for thinking of this character, for trying to introduce this. Do you know why they introduced this character in 2015? So they were always trying to find like younger audience. And people are complaining that, Marvel is not trying to find new fans. They are trying to find new fans. They are trying to introduce kids to comics. That's why they reintroduced Squirrel Girl. And you know why they did not come up with a new character? Well, because they already had this character. They already owned this particular character. This character was already their property. So they just reinvented her. They used her to create this new comedic, funny, like parody character for kids. So, as my take on the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. Will I reread this comic? No, it's not for me. Did I enjoy reading this comic? Yes, I did. For what it is, I did enjoy it. Would I recommend this comic to you? Who are you and how old are you? Are you a 50-year-old man? Are you a 30-year-old man? No, you won't. You probably won't like it. Are you a teenager? Are you a kid? Yeah, read it. Get it for your kids. They'll love it. Right. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. They will be all. Thank you very much for watching. And I'm out of here.